Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another edition of Let's Talk on DNTWOK. My name is Olujoke Mosaku, and I'm so excited to know that you're always available to watch this program and other activities that we have going on DNTWOK channel on our YouTube. And also, I'd like to remind you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you've not done so, and also follow us on all of our social media platforms.
JK Royal Signatures, a blend of African fabric.
Well, today's topic is impact of social media and mental health. Impact of social media on mental health. Sorry, I went over the time. So, and I have with me Reverend Francis Umukoro. He is the youth and outreach pastor of Owu Baptist Church in Abeokuta, Ogun State, Nigeria. Well, he will be discussing this topic, the impact of social media on mental health with us. And I would want us to actually pay attention to every details that will be coming out of this discourse today. And I know that whatever we bring to you is actually of value to be able to help each and every one of us on how to navigate some of the life challenges that may come our way. So thank you so much, Reverend, for coming on the show. It's nice having you.
Nice having you too.
Now, what's the relationship between social media and mental health?
All right. So social media helps us to get a lot of information, It's a means of disseminating information as fast as possible around the world. And our mental health has to do with our emotional and psychological well-being. So the relationship is that the social media helps to make people understand what our mental health should look like and what our mental health shouldn't look like. So it helps us to be able to have a wider knowledge of how our mental health should be at every point in time as human.
So how do you juxtapose the usage of social media now on mental health?
All right. The social media is a very, very fast means of getting information, like I rightly said, not quite long. Now, looking at the both of them, the social media and then the mental health, they work hand in hand to be able to help people understand what we need to know about our mental health. Now, the social media is a means of disseminating information in a wider range, like I rightly said, not quite long. So they both work together hand in hand. So the social media helps people to understand what mental health should be like at every point in time.
Now, let's go quickly actually to cyberbullying. Cyberbullying has become a norm in the society right now, that you see different people even disrespecting elders, talking down on elders and doing a whole lot, let alone young ones and all of that. So now, what is the impact of cyberbullying on individuals that has to do with mental health, and how common is it?
All right, cyberbullying is a common phenomenon in our society today. Serious challenge. The side effect is that it brings about depression. It results to depression. It results to suicide in some cases. It results to academic failure of some students. It results to low self-esteem. And it also has effect on emotional, it brings about emotional disaster or distress rather, emotional distress on one.
Now, how can I know that you might not be a social media person.
All right.
Like you might not just be on social media all the time, but I'm sure that there are things that are called gists. There are different bloggers coming up with this, and then there are some people that, like you mentioned, depression has affected a couple of people as a result of this. There are some people that at the end of the day they had to come out that people should stop it. There's a way it affects them, and some people have developed thick skin to actually go against it. Now, you might not have been on it, but you are a pastor of youth and you go on outreaches. How common is cyberbullying that you have known or is hearing about?
All right. It's common in the society, quite all right. It's affecting a lot of people and a lot of youth, especially youth, because youth are at the center point of all of this. They are mostly used to it, sending information here and there and then receiving information. There are some that are educational, while there are some that are not educational. So it is affecting youth, especially in our societies today. And as it's affecting them, it's equally making youth to take some negative steps. It makes them to go into taking cocaine, taking high drugs that will affect them, taking some hot drinks that will affect their mental health and their well-being as a whole. So it's rampant in our society today. And we just pray the government will be able to help us resolve those issues so that it doesn't go more than the way it is in our society presently.
Okay, I'm actually coming to that government part, but I want us to quickly go to how it can affect how people actually can protect themselves against cyberbullying or harassment.
All right. One of the steps we can take to prevent it is educating our people, enlightenment. When there is room for enlightenment, when we enlighten our younger ones and making them to understand the negative impact it has on one's mental health, it will really, really help a great way. Then in the education system also, they should be able to create room to educate our students to be able to have this understanding of the negative side effects so that it doesn't affect them. And then even in our churches, we also create that platform to be able to hear their views, the views of the younger ones, the youths, the teenagers, what they are going through, secretly. Numbers of them go through these things secretly without the knowledge of their parents. So when we draw ourselves closer to them by creating a kind of forum where we can discuss heart-to-heart discussion, all of this gives us opportunity to hear what they are going through secretly and individually. And thereafter, we'll have the opportunity of educating them, enlightening them not to get themselves involved in it so as not to be affected in the society at large. Because at the end of it all, their parents also will be involved. Their parents will be involved. Like what happened in Nigeria recently, we were hearing the news of those little children that were arrested as a result of what happened in the society not quite long. So, it's a big problem. The parents are at the receiving end because they are ashamed seeing their children in custody. And as a society, it's not a good thing seeing such children of tender age being under the custody of the policemen. Is a big shame to the society and the parents.
That's actually another form of course, I can imagine what those children are going through because they are supposed to be dealt with differently, not, put together. And then the amount of money that is being called on for bond, meaning And knowing that
Exactly.
some of them might even come from a home that are not very okay financially and
Yeah,
looking
not even able to afford 3 square meals per day, and
exactly. So
actually being
automatically
such a
you're not
trouble
ready
time.
to release them in any way. So, but all the same, I know that it can also affect people, people's mental state and the children themselves. When you can imagine what they're going through, even in the midst of adults who actually maybe are being put together, and we don't know what those individual children will come up with after going to such a place. Some might be hardened in mind and just begin to do stuff, and some also might not even have, the zeal might no longer be there and all of that. But
Exactly.
so now moving forward, you were talking about government helping out to do stuff. Now I want us to look at the social media companies. What do you think they can do to actually mitigate it? And where do you want government, or do you think that government can actually come in?
Well, the social media should be able to put a kind of a parental guide to help our children, parental guide. So, which means the parents are also involved in mitigating this challenge we are having. So, parents also need to rise up to their responsibility, just as the social media also need to rise up to their responsibility to help our children in this area, not to be involved in such kind of act. The parents also, I'm sorry, the government also need to come up with policies that will help us mitigate this problem in our society, because it's a general problem, and if it continues this way, it will lead to something else that we may not be able to handle as a nation. But when the government comes up with good policies to stand against such in the society, it will really, really help to reduce cyberbullying.